Hi, what do you say about the Academy Awards for 2016? Well, let's start with the Chris Rock monologue, which had a couple of pointed, incisive jokes. The in memoriam line comes to immediate memory. And also the sorority racism about basically how the progressive leaning upper tier of Hollywood they tend to, from what I'm getting of Mr. Rock's portrayal, be as enthusiastic about stereotyping or seeing certain uh, people of color or ethnicities in certain uh, somewhat limited ways. And you could say that there was progress made since, say, 1985 in mainstream motion pictures, in that you can have interracial pairings without any kind of where you're just casting people together, and even a film that's not going to be remembered forever, like Focus, you couldn't make that in 1985 because you'd be worried about white racism. And come to think of it, even 2 years later, 1987, Whoopi Goldberg did a cop comedy called Fatal Beauty, and she had a love scene with Sam Elliott, and whoever was running MGM, I guess, thought it wasn't something suitable for white or black America, and it was cut out. And anyway, um, once you get past the couple of incisive lines of Chris Rock, the other Chris Rock, the one who has sort of economic conservatism and non-sympathy for people farther down the economic ladder, kind of not too many centimeters away from Bill Cosby when he was, pre sexual abuse scandals, going around and telling people, as Hannibal Buress memorably outed him as saying, pull your pants up, and generally haranguing people for not being Bill Cosby. Um, you got a little bit of that with Chris Rock, and the line about, well, why didn't I drop out the Oscar hosting? And then he goes into the thing about, well, people who aren't working say those things, and that just seemed gratuitously nasty. And then it was probably expected that he would take a swipe at the high profile absence of Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith from the ceremony. And, well, with Jada, uh, came off mean. And even the remark he made at Will Smith about uh, after mentioning concussion, Will Smith taking 20 million for a 1999 film called Wild Wild West, which a lot of people except Will Smith completists have forgotten. Well, you know, just nasty, stupid, dumb, kind of reminded me of a low point of Steve Martin hosting almost a dozen years ago, where he swiped at Michael Moore for, oh, how dare you use our podium to talk about George W. Bush and Iraq, you know. So, anyway, uh, Cheryl Boone Isaac's speech, I thought was some of it was, corporate language, but from what I could parse of it, it was had a good undergirding of you are the Academy, and if you want to make change in the films that get made, you go out, you say things about diversity, representation, giving non-white people a chance. When you're doing the green lighting for projects at studios, when the meetings are being done about casting, and especially too, besides casting, when what they call in the industry as crewing up, assembling the crew for the film that's going to be made. And of course, back to green lighting, which is be nice to see more films come out of Sony rather than Screen Gem programmers of Idris Elba being forced to work beneath his full acting skills and chasing Taraji P. Henson around a house in a gated community, or potboiler stuff. Um, anyway, just to be briefer about the things that did win is that congratulations in terms of the awards that Mad Max Fury Road won, because after the disappointment back in '85 of Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, I didn't know if George Miller had another great action picture in him. He did, and glad it won the amount of awards it did. Inarritu winning Best Director for The Revenant, more deserved than the Steadicam stunt show that was Birdman. But at the same time, it would be nice for directors to win, and they're not doing a ton of press to justify being bastards to their crews or their actors or their line producers or whatever. And congratulations to Leo and Brie Larson for widely predicted and well-deserved wins. And congratulations also to Adam McKay, Charles Randolph, The Big Short, and Tom McCarthy, and I'm going to be forgetful, co-writer for Spotlight, and for Spotlight winning Best Picture, proving that you can still do something old-fashioned like people in a room talking to each other, and through skillful acting, photography, editing, direction, you can generate the kind of suspense and identification and anticipation you can on films with far greater budgets and oodles and oodles of CGI used. So anyway, that's my Oscar summary for 2016. Thanks for hanging in this long to hear all of it. Appreciate it, and hope to be back next year.